I know not whether the laws be right or whether the laws be wrong. All that I know who lie in Gaol is that the wall is strong and that each day is like a year whose days are long. Hello viewers, I am Professor Sharanjeet, working at the Rajiv Gandhi National University of Law, Punjab. Today we shall talk about the conceptual framework of prisons. A prison is a word with a strong negative connotation referring to a place meant for law violators and criminals. The meaning, nature and scope of prisons have changed with changing times. Dear viewers, a prison is known by different names in different parts of the world. A jail, cell, lockup, gaol, custody, detention, bastille, reformatory or penitentiary are used, but it refers to a similar institution for keeping the law violators as a form of punishment and also for the purpose of keeping the society safe from the law breachers and criminals. The concept of prison depends on the theory of punishment that is being practiced at a particular point of time. For instance, in ancient times, the purpose of punishment was deterrence, so prisons were difficult places, whereas in modern times, the emphasis is on reformation, hence the concept and outlook towards prisons are altogether different. So we start with the question, what is a prison? A prison or a jail refers to a structure that is used for the permanent or temporary lodging of offenders and also includes the lands and buildings attached to it. It is a closed space with high walls to keep the inmates secure and to prevent their escape or jailbreaks. In ancient history, it was seen that a person who committed a crime or violated the norms laid down by the king was sent to a far off place as a form of punishment. The king banished and exiled the wrongdoers. Their contact with their immediate family, friends and society was abruptly snubbed. With the passage of time, the concept of prisons came into being. Prisons were given the greatest and most difficult task of ensuring the safe custody of offenders, and gradually the reformation of offenders also became an important objective of correctional administration. Historical texts of the Hindus as well during the Muslim periods contain references to the prison system in ancient India. Prominent among them are Manusmriti, Yajanvalika and Kautalya. Punishment through imprisonment was for retribution and also for self-repentance and remorse. However, there is also a reference in the Manusmriti that jails were to be constructed on the royal roads so that the passerbys could learn a lesson from the condition of those who were being jailed. References to prisons or jails can also be found in the Ramayana, the Mahabharata and other Hindu scriptures. In those times, a jail was called a Karagraha. As per the ancient Hindu scriptures, the inmates were kept in very inhumane conditions, often chained with heavy chains. Lord Krishna's parents were also jailed by his maternal uncle, and Lord Krishna was born in the jail only. In the Muslim period, prisoners were kept or jailed in forts. For instance, Razia Sultan was kept imprisoned in a fort. In the olden days, banishment was used as a mode of punishment and also to eliminate wrongdoers from the society. As per the old text Manusmriti, it is stated that in those times, all the jails were so built on the royal roads that an offender suffering from pain and bad conditions would be seen by all in order to deter others from committing crimes. Kautilya had also stated that the jail should be so constructed that it provides separate accommodation for keeping men and women apart, and it should well be guarded at the entrance. During the British rule in India, freedom fighters were lodged in jails in huge numbers. A cellular jail was also constructed in Andaman and the Nicobar Islands to lodge the freedom fighters in small dingy cells. A popular form of punishment during those times was transportation for life. The conditions in the cellular jail were very inhumane, and the freedom fighters were given harsh punishments on the jail premises. In this regard, a reference can also be made to the All India Jail Committee on Reforms, where it was stated that our contemporary prison administration is a legacy of the British rule. Also adding that Lord Macaulay, who was the chairman of the committee responsible for drafting the Indian Penal Code 1860, provided for imprisonment as the most commonly used instrument for punishment under the substantive criminal law during those times. This in turn necessitated the construction of more jails in the country. Lord Macaulay said, "Imprisonment is the punishment to which we must keep the trust. It will probably be resorted to in 90 cases out of every 100. In this regard, Lord Macaulay proposed the setting up of large central prisons and smaller district jails across the country. Thus, we can infer that the prison infrastructure in most of the states has a colonial legacy to it. It is interesting to note that in the United States, it was felt that when offenders were sent to the prisons, the solitary confinement and study of the Bible during imprisonment would make the prisoner penitent, which means remorseful, and ultimately lead to his or her reformation. Hence, in America, the word penitentiary was used to denote the prisons. A prison or jail essentially curtails the freedom of movement of a person who has violated the law and is supposed to undergo punishment by way of imprisonment, which can be either simple imprisonment or rigorous imprisonment. In the Indian context, a jail means a central jail, district jail, sub jail, women jail, special jail, and Borstal schools. Now we come up to the definitions of the prisons. As per the Oxford English Dictionary, a prison is defined as a place properly arranged and equipped for the reception of persons who by legal process are committed to it for safe custody while awarding punishment. As per the Prison Act 1894, Section 3, Subsection 1, a prison means any jail or place used permanently or temporarily under the general or special orders of the state government for the detention of prisoners and includes all lands and buildings appurtenant thereto, but does not include any place for the confinement of prisoners who are exclusively in the custody of the police, any place appointed by the state government under section 541 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, or any place which has been declared by the state government by general or special order to be a subsidiary jail. As per the Prisoners Act 1900, Section 2B, a prison includes any place that has been declared by the state government by general or special order to be a subsidiary jail. Importantly, these different correctional institutions have to follow the United Nations standard minimum rules for the treatment of the prisoners. In these rules, detailed guidelines have been given with regards to the accommodation of the prisoners, personal hygiene, clothing and bedding, food and water in the prison, medical services to be provided to them, and provision for libraries, education and recreational facilities in the prison compound itself for the purpose of safeguarding the human rights of the prisoners and their ultimate rehabilitation. Rule 13 states that all accommodation provided for the use of prisoners, and in particular all sleeping accommodation, shall meet all requirements of health, due regard being paid to climatic conditions and particularly to cubic content of air, minimum food, space, lighting, heating and ventilation. Dear viewers, prisons are a state subject under entry 4, prison reformatories, Bostel institutions and other institutions of a like nature in the state list 2 of the 7th schedule to the Constitution of India. Therefore, the management and administration of prisons fall into the domain of the state governments and UT administration. Now we shall discuss the different types of prisons. We start with the central jail. A central jail, as the name suggests, is an important jail with a large capacity for lodging the inmates. What criteria are to be followed for categorizing a prison into a central jail depends upon the discretion of the state government. However, it is seen that prisoners who are imprisoned for a longer period are sent to the central jails. These prisons have a larger capacity and are located in important cities. Rehabilitation facilities are also more prevalent in the central jails across the country. In India, Delhi has the highest number of central jails. Tihar jail is considered to be the largest jail complex in South Asia. This jail has 9 central prisons under it. In Tihar jail, different rehabilitation strategies are used for the purpose of reforming the criminals. The Madras Central Prison is one of the oldest prisons in India. It was initially called the Madras Penitentiary until 1855, when it was renamed as Central Jail. Now we talk about district jails. It is important to note that these jails are the main prisons in the states and the union territories where there are no central jails. In India, a high number of district jails are in Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Haryana and Karnataka. Next are the sub-jails. The sub-jails are relatively smaller jails that are situated at a sub-divisional level in the states. These jails have a better organized setup due to their smaller size. In India, there are a considerable number of sub-jails in Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka and Rajasthan. It is seen that criminals sentenced to imprisonment for a lesser term are put in sub-jails. Remand or under trial prisoners are also committed to the sub-jails. Next, we shall discuss women jails. Women may also violate the law. It is important to note that in comparison to men, there are considerably fewer female prisoners in the jails. In the recent past, it has been seen that the percentage of females in jails across the country is also increasing. Women prisoners are mostly convicted in murder cases, dowry deaths, matrimonial disputes and the trafficking of drugs and narcotics. The females are lodged separately in female jails where the correctional staff are also required to be of females. The purpose of separate jails for females is to ensure the safety of the female prisoners. Section 27, subsection 1 of the Prison Act 1894 provides that in a prison containing female as well as male prisoners, the female prisoners shall be imprisoned in separate buildings or separate part of the same building in such a manner as to prevent their seeing, conversing with, or holding any intercourse with the male prisoners. Children up to the age of 6 can live with their mothers in prison if there is no other provision for their care and upbringing. In 2006, the Supreme Court of India, in the case of R.D. Upadhyay versus State of Andhra Pradesh and others, laid down exhaustive guidelines as to children in jail and their entitlement to food, shelter, medical care, clothing, education and recreational facilities as a matter of right. Now we will discuss open jails. An open prison is a prison with a minimum of restrictions on the prisoner's movements and activities. Prisoners in such prisons are allowed to take up employment or agricultural related work, animal husbandry, or work in cottage industries while serving their sentence. Prisoners can also live with their families. In simple words, open jails are defined as jails without walls, bars and lockups. In open prisons, there is a minimum restriction on the inmates. Open prison offers an opportunity for transformative punishment for the inmates. Open prisons help with better social interaction among the inmates and subsequent readjustment post incarceration. The stigma and shame associated with incarceration also gradually fades away. Dear viewers, for the young offenders, we have the Borstal schools. Borstal schools are meant to ensure the custody, care and rehabilitation of young offenders or juvenile delinquents. They help in preventing the contamination of young offenders with habitual and hardened ones. Such institutions follow a very youth-centric approach where the objective is to erase the criminal or delinquent chapter completely from the life of the youthful offender and turn him into a new leaf. As per the Karnataka Borstal Schools Act 1963, a Borstal school means a place in which young offenders, while detained in pursuance of this act, are given such industrial training and other instructions and are subject to such other disciplinary and moral influences as it continues to reform and prevent crime. The Borstal schools lodge the juveniles in conflict with the law. The main objective of these institutions is to exclusively deal with young offenders for the purpose of their education, skill development, discipline and reintegration into the society. In the Indian context, currently we have Borstal jails in Himachal Pradesh, Jharkhand, Karnataka, Kerala, Maharashtra, Punjab, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu and Telangana. Now we move on to the special jails. In the Indian context, there is also provision for special jails. These jails are meant for the confinement of a particular class of prisoners. Special jails, as the name suggests, are meant for a special category of high-risk prisoners who are involved in terrorist and extremist activities, serious organized crimes, have the tendency to indulge in violence and aggression, and are habitual offenders. The prison administration perceives them as a threat to both the routine criminals and themselves, which is why they are lodged separately in the special jails. Dear viewers, As per the prison statistics for India in 2019, 1350 jails in the country consists of 617 sub-jails, 410 district jails, 144 central jails, 86 open jails, 41 special jails, 31 women jails and 19 borstal schools. The highest number of jails were reported in Rajasthan, followed by Tamil Nadu, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and Odisha. Delhi has reported the highest number of central jails in the country. States and union territories like Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Daman and Diu and Lakshadweep have no central jail as of 31st December 2019. Uttar Pradesh has reported the highest number of district jails. Tamil Nadu has reported the highest number of sub-jails. Only 15 states and union territories have female jails with a total capacity of 6,511 in India. Uttarakhand has reported the highest female occupancy rate, followed by Chhattisgarh and Uttar Pradesh. Now we shall discuss the importance of prisons. Crime and deviance cannot be eliminated from the society. Prisons help in fulfilling different objectives, and prisons are an important part of criminal justice system. Prisons give effect to the sentence passed by the court. Curtailing the freedom of movement of the convict serves justice to the victim of crime. If the criminals are allowed to move free, then it sends the wrong message to the society. Prisons protect society by keeping the law violators confined. Prisons help in the administration of justice. In modern times, prisons are unlike the historical or ancient karagrahas, where the prisoners were lodged in inhumane and brutal conditions. Nowadays, prisons focus on 3 R's: reformation, rehabilitation and reintegration. Dear viewers, now I shall focus on the nature of prisons. Prisons are conceived as closed spaces meant to keep criminals and offenders away from society as a form of punishment and also to keep the society safe. It is important to note that the society and the immediate victim of crime also need retribution and justice, which are ensured through the mechanism of prisons. The nature of prisons may depend on whether the state follows the retributive, deterrent or reformatory theory of punishment. In modern times, prisons are called reformatories or correctional institutions, and their objective is to reform through punishment. In the end, as discussed, the prisons are a state subject, and each state has devised its own rules and regulations concerning the management of the prisons. Every state has different rules and regulations. The central government provides financial and technical assistance to the state governments for the purpose of modernizing the prisons and ensuring that the overall objectives of reformation and rehabilitation of the prisoners are actually achieved. The jail buildings and other physical facilities needs to be functional, adequate and conducive to correctional administration. Authorities should also prioritize the location of the jails. There should be space for the reception center, sleeping barracks, cells, washrooms, bathrooms, washing sites, kitchen, hospital, classroom and workstation. With the rise in population and crime rate, there is also a need for the establishment of new prisons in the country. Overcrowding in jails is a major concern in India. In the end, I would like to quote Mahatma Gandhi ji. Prisons should be changed into hospitals to give treatment to offenders, to bring them on the correct line. An officer of the jail should be changed into a doctor. The offender shall feel that officers of the jail are his friends. With this, we come to the end of today's lecture. Thank you very much.